Hi everyone, hello. Happy greetings to you wherever you are. This is Jennifer from Personal Power Wellness, and I wanted to say happy weekend and happy Friday as I make this video. It's a wellness message, and I wanted to share with you the green juice of the moment and of the day. And last night for today, this is celery and apple. One apple and a light stalk of celery. So we're gonna drink this up to hydrate because today is a dry and hot day, which is typical of Dubai at this point in the season of the year. And let me just go ahead and get this straw in the bottle. So I'm drinking it already because I'm kind of hungry. And so this one is a little bit thicker because I did not strain it last night. So it is just the pure juice as it comes out of the juicer. And the reason why straining it is so beneficial is because it removes some of those excess fibers that come along with the produced juice. And when it is strained, it's a smoother taste and it just goes down a little bit more smoothly and amazingly, softly, pleasantly. But either way, you get the full benefits, and even in this one, you get a little bit more of the fiber. So it's a win-win. Either way, you can't lose. But if you want a smooth juice, the kind that you would have, with the kind of consistency you'd get in a store, then the best bet is to strain it to remove the excess fibers. Nevertheless, I wanted to share a note regarding what happens if you feel frustrated and annoyed or defeated that you're not losing weight and you think you should be losing weight. And it's discouraging to you because you're doing all the right things, you say, that should keep you in line and on the path, on track to reduce weight and to achieve that desired goal number on the stupid scale. And the reason I say stupid scale is because I have a very kind of addictive relationship to the scale, but not excessively so, just in the sense that I do weigh myself whenever possible, once a day in the morning before eating or drinking anything, and after going to the bathroom, which is usually what anyone would recommend if you want a sensible type of number on the scale that is accurately reflecting your current state. But just remember that there are different factors that are related to weight, and it's such a big topic. But firstly, of course, your number, the weight number, does not define who you are. It does not define your worthiness or your value or your specialness in the world. It doesn't make you a better person or a worse person than anyone else. It doesn't make you less than or better than. It doesn't mean that you're succeeding in life just because of that number. And it does not mean that you're a failure or that you're a lost cause. Okay, so just keep that in mind first and foremost. After that, it's tough when the number on that scale device determines what happens in your emotions and how your day will go, because it happens to me so much, and maybe you can relate that you wake up and you feel pretty good, and then you weigh yourself and you think that you're going to get a favorable number on the scale, and then you see that it's not, and you're actually disappointed because you see that the number's higher maybe than you thought, or that it should be. And after that, it's almost like it upsets and upends your whole day and your mood and your feelings, and you feel like it's a catastrophe or something's wrong, things are going wrong, something's not working, and it can be very confusing and discouraging. So just know that on the one hand, one point to consider is that our weight will fluctuate from day to day, and throughout the month, especially for women because they have their monthly cycle. So that definitely has a big influence in terms of the number going up during certain times of the month because of water retention, of a bit more bloatedness and swelling in the body. And also for both men and women, there is systemic inflammation that happens throughout the week due to our lifestyle, in the sense of running around, being sleep deprived. You accumulate inflammation from the stress, the hassles of every day. Even if you live a really good life, you still have some mode of stress, right? Whether it's mental and physical or physical. Both of those take a toll, and they influence our hormones. They influence our cortisol. And then the cortisol stimulates more fat retention and accumulation in our abdominal region, the waistline. But it can also trigger cravings and be conducive to less beneficial food choices. But let's say that you also, by the way, in terms of inflammation of the body, weight training, exercise, fitness, physical activities, they also bring an added inflammation to the body. So even though it's a good stress, the exercise, it is stress nevertheless. And if you're doing heavy muscle training with weights, then you will, or doing these hardcore high intensity exercises that tire you out, just know that your muscles will get inflamed, and then the muscle fibers will tear. They will need to repair. They get inflamed, and then they need time to rest and recover, which comes in your sleep and in rest days. So if your sleep is also being impaired and affected, then that will have an effect and will be a factor in your weight. And then it might pop up as weight gain, and that could lead to you feeling confused and disappointed and discouraged and just kind of want to give it all up and say, what the hell, what's the point of even trying? But just know that it's not that you're doing something wrong necessarily, but there are other factors that influence things. Also another factor to consider is retention of stool in our colon, because we do keep fecal matter in our colon, especially if you're someone who thinks you have constipation or you've struggled with constipation. We do accumulate that stool. Even if you're eliminating regularly every day, we still retain colon weight, especially in the morning. If you weigh yourself before you go to have a bowel movement, not everyone can have a bowel movement as soon as they wake up. So that's another factor. Another aspect is, I said sleep, and I mentioned about the cycle of the month and how it ebbs and flows. Another aspect is looking at your diet, and then what kind of fuel source you're relying on primarily. Because, for instance, if you're eating more carbohydrates, which is something I do, then that will store more glycogen in the liver, which will be attached to water molecules that will retain more water. And if you are combining that with salt, then the salt will also draw in more water and keep that retained, and it will remain in your cells, and it will pop up and be evident as puffiness, or you might feel that bloatedness. So that comes from salt that you've eaten in your food and drinks, but also if you're having more carbohydrates, and especially processed carbohydrates. Now, I eat a lot of carbohydrates. I'm primarily a carbohydrate eater with very low protein and low fat as well, as much as I can, except when I just I buy something like a vegetable that was marinated in oil, which is stupid, but you just can't escape it when you eat food from the outside, unfortunately. So that can cause water retention as a storage of glycogen in your liver. It doesn't mean it's fat, but it's water that you retain in your body because of the carbohydrate source of fuel. That's why when people go on the keto diet or they do high protein, low carbs, they see that, oh my God, I have a remarkable weight loss. But it's just because of the water being removed as excess, because you're not retaining that water. And it's not bad that you're retaining it necessarily, unless you have edema and like excessive swelling and bloatedness. But one second. All right. So it's not bad. It's just the way that these molecules function. The carbohydrate molecule compared to the fat molecule compared to the protein molecule. So that could be a factor. If you had a lot of carbs the previous night, then you will be like retaining that in your cells as water and in your liver. And that could show up as like 1 pound or I don't know, maybe 2 pounds if it's combined with salt. So just know that if you had a heavier meal last night, or you've just been eating more carbohydrates, and that includes like the starchier ones like rice, potatoes, yams, even butternut squash and pumpkin, they seem to be denser in the body, I've noticed, and they'll retain like more water within, and fiber. It's the fiber for sure, because the fiber is the one that goes into your stool and is ultimately eliminated by the body. But you have to have your regular bowel movements to keep a stability, a healthy movement, a healthy flow. So look at what kind of energy source you've been having. Carbohydrates or proteins. Did you have more salt last night? Salt and sugar and fat, because that will be a huge factor as well. And then finally, we just have to be real with ourselves and ask yourself if you've really been eating clean, if you've been following your supposedly strict diet or moderately healthy diet, whatever that means for you. It's different for everyone, because everyone has a different philosophy and lifestyle and decision about what they want to eat and how they want to do it. So yeah, like for me, for instance, my frustration stems from the fact that I'm not eating any processed foods like biscuits or cakes. I haven't been having that because it according to a food intolerance test, I'm not my body doesn't tolerate those things well, like flours and oat, soy, corn, gluten, rice, white potato, wheat, milk, eggs. It's like my body's so intolerant to those things apparently. And those items like sugar, cane sugar, that's in everything, so I haven't been having it as an experiment. And I've actually felt like my body's just sitting at the same weight, which is higher than what I was before by 2 pounds. And it's annoying, to be honest. And that's just me sharing my honest truth with you as a way to let you know that, in this humanity that we're living with as ourselves, if it's something that you care about, then just know that there are different factors influencing this process, and some of it may just not be your fault, okay? But then it might be. So, I just want to be a voice of compassion and of reason and sensibility, in the sense that it's difficult to control these things with our lifestyle and with the stress, but just keep going and stay the course. If you have to reorient yourself and change your plan because something's not working, then that's okay. And first and foremost is to keep your health on the forefront, and remember that the weight on the scale does not define your worth or your worthiness, your specialness in life, or how much people love you, whether you're lovable. You are lovable just because you exist. You have a right to be respected, to be loved, to be appreciated, and to be happy. No matter what you look like, you deserve to be loved. And our world is very superficial, and it goes based on looks, really. And it's harder for women than it is on men, but men also have their difficulties. So I hope that in this message you can consider different viewpoints, that the number on the scale will go up and then it will go down, and it will change throughout the stages of your life. But just keep your course, keep on your path, do what's right for you specifically, not because your neighbor is doing it. What's right for someone else is not necessarily the best for you. Live your own life, run your own race, stay in your lane, because that will keep you in a bit more peace and sanity. And finally, just remember, the number on the scale does not define your worth. So keep doing the healthy things for the sake of it by itself, without expecting the consequence of like less weight. If it comes, then great. And if it doesn't, then we just have to accept that at least you are doing the right things by yourself. You know, you're doing right by yourself, and you're choosing the healthy way, because it's good for your organs, it's good for your muscles, it's good for your bones, it's good for your brain. You know, choosing the foods that feed and nourish the gut microbiome, healthy bacteria, that strengthens your bones, keeps your skin glowing and healthy, hydrated. Okay? So I hope this helps somehow. I'll let you go. Continue, carry forward into your day. And if you have any thoughts or anything that you struggle with, you can always share with me confidentially, and your secret is safe with me. Take care. Have a happy weekend, and see you soon. Jennifer from Personal Power Wellness. See you next time. Bye. And goodbye from the juice.